best of ones, not a best of two. Knife to start the game. It looks like Wildcard won it, given the fact that they are on the CT side, and M80 immediately going for a play out towards B.
Classic B rush here on the pistol round right now for M80. Sonic, the only defender keeping an eye on things all the way back at Cat, does have support from MOTM as well. Those two played together back on ATK for a minute, but Sonic's taking a dink from Swisher all the way back. Bomb's going down, and it's retake time here for Wildcard. No reason why they wouldn't go for it, and as Swisher so astutely tweeted out earlier, it's always better to die before the bomb goes off because the terrorists get more money when the bomb goes boom. There goes Light for the first onto Def. Malbs answers back, takes out JBA, but Stanislaw picks off Reck coming in through Market. MOTM chimes in as well, just Slacks and Malbs. Slacks puts in work for one more, but they know where the last two players are. This creates some problems here for M80, trying to buy the time they need. Kit there for Stan. He's got the headshot. MOTM the other. And MOTM with a pair, Stan with a pair as well, and that's a pistol round victory for Wildcard. One minor problem, bomb down plus 3 kills for the T's.
That bomb down specifically gives them a lot of extra cash to work with for a potential force buy, but you have to assume is coming through. Reck immediately going for the Galil armor, as does Def. AK from Slacks being dropped over to Malbs, maximizing his potential, like the play. Again, we highlighted Malbs as one of the players to watch for M80 specifically. Slacks will get dropped a Scout, a Glass Cannon Scout, and Swisher will be on the classic Deeg armor with utility. This is a balanced buy. Sure, Wildcard have the advantage, but M80, a real chance to take a chunk out of the CT economy and potentially steal away the round as well.
Do you remember the days when Swisher would buy the Deagle on pistol rounds?
I do.
He loves that gun.
Infamously so.
I'm glad he stopped doing that, though, in all seriousness. Just because of the risk versus reward, the risk did not match up to the reward potential.
No, not worth it.
No. That aside, though, it's a pretty standard A walk here from M80 using what utility they have, which is not a lot. They've used it all with a smoke and a flashbang out. Stanislaw's molly a bit too late, involves the smoke. It comes down to timing, and he catches Slight from behind. Malbs reveals his position, but Reck and Malbs will add a second to his tally. Sonic responds with a pair of his own out towards jungle, but takes significant damage from the Malbs before going down. Swisher still only has that Deagle out towards ramp, trying to recover a rifle. He might have better luck once the round timer expires, buddying up with Reck, watching the backside. Slacks up, and Palace has long-range angle with that Scout, but it's just time play here from M80, trying to see if they can come away with a nice, clean victory here. They've got their 2 dead, keep 3 alive, pick up a couple guns, particularly for Slacks and Swish. That's exactly the goal now. Reck's going with them to make sure those 2 rifles can be acquired. Upgrade there for Reck, drops that Galil. Slacks picks up an MP9, swaps over to the Galil, and save here from Wildcard. Sonic staying alive, and Slacks had no armor, so he goes down. No more Galil for M80 there, but I think they'll be happy with that response, and for Wildcard, they're going to have to make a pretty tough decision of how they're going to shuffle the money around.
Lots of individual initiative in that round from the M80 squad. We had Reck getting out ramp on a very solid timing, slipping by that Molotov, as you mentioned. And of course, Malbs pressing the issue through the smoke, finds the timing onto 1. That sets the round in motion from M80. Very well done once they find that opening by timing. Wildcard not going to let that kind of play come through again, though.
I like this fast push from JBA coming up behind. They don't know he's here. They're not ready for him. They haven't heard him. They will take him down, but the counter push through Market yields a pair for Sonic. It's an even 3v3 situation as Malbs and Swisher each finding one on that little apartments crunch from Wildcard. That's exactly the kind of response they needed to get into this game again and pull something off the lesser weaponry, the MP9s. Stanislaw with the 1 remaining in hand for Blue, coming in towards jungle. And he'll take down Def, who is trying to watch the rat hole cross. That is a fight that his counterpart, the IGL and Stanislaw, will have that fight. Reck's going for it, though, and he could get caught off guard here by Stan. It's all down to timing. Does Stan have the right angle? Reck's given a bit of a break to get that kill with minimal damage. And
unfortunate. Yeah, it was a big kill to find. OTM. A lot more to do, however. Or reck on the site just can't do it. Two very opposite angles. Yields around by MOTM's hand. A very solid start for him. Again, newly added to the roster. 4 kills thus far in this map. Very interesting bomb plant position as well for M80. It's not enough to get the round in their favor. Wildcard 2 on the board now. M80, by that bomb plant, they can try to hazard something together. It seems like the force buy wars have truly begun. And they will go for it as well. Reck on an AK, Galil for Def. Slacks on a Mac 10, less than ideal. Mobs and Swisher, what are they going to cobble together? Deagle and a Galil are on the cards for that final pair.
Looks like it's back and forth force buy wars here, Nate. But Mobs with the Deagle is a scary proposition for anybody unfortunate enough to walk to his crosshair. Slacks can also move around fast with the Mac 10. The riflery and the utility for Wildcard give them a significant advantage, and that's a nice little bit of nade work from MOTM. He's going to get charged down, but Sonic from Arches has a pair, goes for the 3K, gets supported from Ian out towards Van, and that's a mop-up in apartments, a murder scene up there. Only Def remaining, trying to recover something out of this round, just some economic damage, but it looks assured that Wildcard will finally string something together and look to go up 4-1 after this round is converted in their favor. Def walking, creeping forward, spotted, and eventually removed by Slight. And that is as clean of a round on Nap's play as you can get for Wildcard. Great work there from Sonic at Arches, and MOTM combining well with his former teammate. Doesn't look like Wildcard are having much of a problem slotting their new man in.
No, they are not. Again, off to a very hot start for him. Sonic leading the board for his team as well. They keep 5 rifles up in that round. They win the second in a row, and they send M80 saving, send them packing. Wildcard are now truly in the driver's seat in the early goings of this first half. Just a couple Deagles and Glocks to challenge in round number 5. Can't expect too much from them either. JBA, player we chose to highlight, yet to really leave his mark on this map. I've seen some confident play from him thus far. Stanislaw is the one to start this round off, though, dropping his counterpart in Def on the other side. I mean, he should just fall like dominoes. To kind of spread out, looking for kills, looking for timings, hoping to sow some chaos, but especially with Glocks, what can you really do? Reck, the only one now with a Deagle in hand, should be the only one able to find any sort of impact. I say that, Stanislaw does not have a helmet.
He does not have a helmet, but still it's a double tap from the Glock at range, and he deals with the Deagle astutely, so that's no longer a threat. More contact, Slacks gets caught, Swisher's a dead man out in the middle, surely. One way or another. They're going to find him. They're going to get him. And it's Sonic. Slacks runs out. Just trying to end the round. There's JBA's opener of this game. But now, Nate, we can finally get into some actual Counter-Strike. Full-on rifle rounds. We don't have to worry about broken buys, minimal... You always still have to worry about minimal utility on M80, but overall, this is about as close to a real proper Counter-Strike round as you could hope for. One thing, too, for M80, they need to get some frags on the board. Only Mobs has above 2. He has more kills than his entire team combined. They have 4. Swisher and Slacks on 1, Reck on 2, Def with the goose egg. Meanwhile, Sonic alone has 8, Stan has 6, MOTM 5 and but JBA goes hunting in Palace, and he gets booted out of his throne. Reck to reign supreme up top for now. The bomb is dropped back C as M80 look to default around the map, get some general control, and play for picks, which they've already been successful at for the first engagement. This triple up in mid, however, this could pose a bit of a problem for M80 when they eventually want to make a move.
Could. Wildcard setup is very interesting. A player in window and 2 very aggressive on A, 1 holding ramp, or peeking ramp, I should say, and a second on balcony. Sonic, I believe he's on balcony. He could be below, I suppose. But M80, they've disassembled that stack towards middle. They've gotten Mobs, into position top con. We've seen him play here before. It was in that second round with the AK. He'd be a linchpin in this round as well. Stanislaw spotting ramp. Molotov in hand. Here's the drop. They'll throw it. Smart call. Don't overextend. Still a very cautious standstill at this stage.
Bulbs with the entry on the Stanislaw. Still Sonic here in hell, looking to get some kills from underneath. Missing everything on Def. How have they not gone for him? How? How have they not turned? Sonic finally falls. Slack sprays for good measure. Slight is still stuck at ticket booth, but good lord, Nate, how do they not realize that the spray is coming from dark?
Was that a ping issue? I'm going to say, I think it has to be.
But
all the shots on that first spray missed, and then Slack sprayed the body for like a solid 5 seconds.
I have no idea.
Very awkward end to the round. Reck makes that fight succinct and clean versus Slight, but yeah, a lot of questions there. With Sonic under the balcony, we do see a pause. I'm going to assume it was a technical problem. That looked like a decent problem for sure.
Let's see if I can get an update here on what's going on.
This is really the worst timing ever for some sort of technical issue to occur. Because a spray from under balcony in that kind of situation could have definitely tipped the scales into Wildcard's favor, because Sonic had 2 lined up, 2 dead to rights, realistically speaking. Even a third if he could reset the spray.
He should not have had that much trouble with the kill on Def. Like, Def was standing still, not moving, and nothing was connecting. That's unusual for him. And yeah, it's a pause for Sonic to get that issue fixed, because that did not look normal.
No, I'm sure both sides are wondering what happened there. Very unfortunate. It sounds like we've got a little bit of time on this technical pause, ladies and gentlemen. But Wildcard, while they did have the early start, the early advantage, M80 are still showing a lot of signs of progress and promise. I will say a lot of M80's strategy requires getting Mulbs set up, getting him in connector, getting him in that power position to set off the A play. That was how they won the first round. That's how they won their second round. And now we'll have to see if Wildcard have any counterplay to that.
But that also brings up a problem, too, for M80. If their entire strategy is predicated upon Mobs getting into connector and getting a pick, what are they going to do when he doesn't?
What are they going to do when they can't?
Exactly. They need to have a lot more depth tactically on this T side. Granted, the only team they ever play Mirage against is Wildcard, but you have to have something a little deeper than that. You can't just rely on one player to get into one position, because then, too, your opponents can hard read that. Yeah, okay, cool, we dealt with him. They have no teeth now. But we're back, and so is Sonic and Slight. We've got the double boomsticks coming out in round number 7 here, just past the halfway point of the first half, the quarter mark in this game. And a double op set up right off the rip. That is a bold call from Wildcard. No op at all to counter for M80 and for Slacks. And again, a lot of mid-presence from M80 here. Are they ready for that op? Where's the second op playing? Sonic's playing very aggressive in Palace with it, trying to counter Reck or anybody else running through.
Let's go Cat.
Yeah.
A late Cat play. Looked like he might have been window smoked out. Going to go support towards B. I can respect the call.
I like Sonic positioning.
I do as well, putting an op on it towards A and towards B. Actually, it's holding connector. This is the perfect position for Slight. Call out Mulbs. That was what we said was the key plan for Wildcard, or should be the key plan for Wildcard. Catching out the star and setting him up to hold connector for that exact play. Good thinking from the CT side.
Very quick read and adaptation from Stanislaw's troop. And look at the crunch with JBA as well, or actually it's Stanislaw in con, just ready to explode. The op shot from Slight misses. Def gonna push the issue, flamed away, and that will burn some time. MOTM getting singed, goes down very low to 30, but Mulbs gets the entry on Stanislaw, looking for more. Swisher up in apartments, deals with Slight on catwalk. MOTM, he gets one over the top, but Swisher has to trade. Flames engulfing the site, no bomb planned yet for M80, as it's in the hands of Reck, finally going down 2 left for Wildcard, but with the investment of the double op, it's a save for Sonic, and JBA backing away. Sonic overflicks on that little jiggle on Cat, and he's going to have to back away. Def will get out of there scot-free, who has still yet to open his account in this game here, Nate. But it's not concerning M80 too much. They're one away from a tie ball game, and there will not be double ops for Wildcard this time. And with the way Sonic's been rifling, I honestly don't hate him staying on the rifle. I think it's probably better. He's got the bulk of their kills, primarily with the automatic rifle. Just give the op to Slight, let him do his thing, and stick around and get the job done with the M4s, with the AK, if you can pick one up.
Yeah, I would respect that call as well. I'd say it's ideal. But a little bit concerned, both oppers missing their shots in that round. We had Slight on Catwalk, missing the shot on a depth as he swung first. We had that shot from Sonic, holding for exits towards Catwalk, also a missed shot. So we'll have to see if these players can warm up sooner rather than later. We do see it drop to Slight, as you mentioned, would be the ideal. We do see that come through. MOTM compromising on an MP9. Everybody else has rifles. There's a kit. There's an okay utility. This is still a solid investment from Wildcard. M80 do have an op as well in play for Slacks, along with AKs to complement. Another rifle buy, in essence.
This default from M80 is becoming a very consistent theme. 1 in apps, 2 or 3 mid, Palace player, a very passive ramp hold this time from reck. But I think Wildcard are also figuring it out that they don't need to push. They don't need to go for info. M80 are basing most of their play on getting mobs out middle and working off of that pick, which is exactly what M80 is doing. Leaving mobs alone in middle, working out A, and letting Mob get the pick. He's going to telegraph that with the Molotov and Con. Reck's coming through Palace, but he's getting watched. JBA's got him. That's a missed shot from Slide as now the injury comes through. The crunch on A. Mob still yet to make a play. Here comes Def, though, and he'll spray through that smoke, taking out JBA. Slight now with one more on the side, burning behind. Triple escapes into the smoke. 4v3 in the favor of Wildcard. Slacks, no response. Mobs yet to make his presence fully known. Creeping forward, Slight to 1 HP. Perfect nade, flash in, stand not blind. Slacks on the angle, Mob spots the elbow, and down goes the in-game leader of Wildcard. The last 3 players stuck in CT. Slacks gets that bomb down to dirt. Still have Palace control as well in the form of Reck. But Slacks in the sandwich position is almost in a one and done. He's got to hit a quick shot on somebody crossing through that little gap he has. Tosses a Molotov to belay any pushing. Falls back, looks over top, gets caught jumping. Reck loses that spray fight. He still got health. Sonic, though, over the top of the smoke, deals with Slacks as he could not connect his shots. Mob's on Con. It is planted for him. And Reck, they know where he is. He's already been damaged. He's engaged. Reck out. Mobs with 1, but he's got to deal with 2 more. He might have bought enough time, however. Slacks on the, or rather, Sonic on the bomb, and Mobs has the second 2. Finishes off. Slight goes down with the bomb. We got a tie ball game here at 4-4 with only 3 rounds to go in this first half. This one, or 4 rounds, excuse me, but this one is getting very, very close now, Nate, and the money situation is now favoring M80 as they have plenty of cash, and Def has just made the perfect buy call for this kind of a round.
Yes, he has. Back 10, harvest it up, build up that economy. It dip into the coffers. Everything that they won in that round now has to be reinvested because everybody fell in that round, of course. Boggs, we do have some confirmation as well. We have pings all over the place in this server. So this is going to be an interesting one. If we see some randomness, if we see some wacky hijinks, perhaps some shots that maybe don't land, we know why. It's because we have a lot of players with a lot of different pings. So we're going to roll with it. If you notice it, you know, it's kind of how it is sometimes.
It do be like that sometimes, and that's some good molly damage going the way of Wildcard. Mobs is doing this well on very high ping, which is not surprising. It's Mobs, he's used to it, but still. It never ceases to amaze me how well he's able to perform with high ping. Def doesn't clear deep enough, and so he can get caught from behind. Instead, he just posts up on Tetris, knocks down Sonic. Slacks in the meantime, spots some heads, goes for a spray, gets 1, looks for the second, but Mobs has his back for 2 more. Only 1 casualty. The AK, though, I don't believe will be picked up by Def. And so he'll have a MAC 10 into the next round. A timeout used by Wildcard here as we get into the dying embers of this first half. And you need to get yourself a solid CT side out of Mirage, Nate, for M80, a 66.7 win rate, equivalent to 2/3 on the CT side. And for Wildcard, just 51.3, 54.2 on the T side. But when you're looking at an M80 side that has such a stellar defense, and it all comes against Wildcard, I think they need a little more than 4 or 5 rounds.
It's a safe assumption, I would say. Pressure's on. You can tell attack pause coming through. They have that op again in the hands of Slight. He's had a very quiet first half. We'll have to see if he can wake up with that sniper in hand once again, if he can redeem his last couple outings with that weapon. M80 not even trifling the sniper rifle this time around. 4 AKs and that MAC-10. You mentioned it was kept by Def. This time it's in Swisher's hands. That's a very interesting call. And an early stack, an early set play perhaps on the cards for M80. Not even going for that Mobs middle play. They just have Swisher to throw a bit of a fake out towards B. Op at ramp, does not miss the opener this time around. Slight finds one. Swisher does pull off the fake with a single kill, but he's quickly traded thereafter. The Wildcard know what's up. They know it's going to be an A play now.
They have JBA creeping all the way through mid. 2 players of Con. The flashes, though, allow Def to get close for 1. He strikes on the second on a crouching JBA. Did deal with Reck in the meantime. Slight goes for the op shot. Has the first. Does not catch Def through the Molotov, however. And that leaves it to a 1v1. IGL versus IGL, but there's a hefty advantage favoring Stanislaw, and that is the HP. Not to mention his position. Def is not ready for this at all. He's looking all the wrong places. Might even say he's looking for love in Alderaan places, Nate, because he has not checked T-ramp once. Now he does. But Stanislaw has time in his favor. He just has to wait it out, play the sound cues. And Def now abandoning the A site, playing exactly into Stanislaw's hands. Def, he had a quiet start, but it's his time to shine. At least get the bomb down. Stan's creeping out onto the A site now as time dwindles down to 24 seconds. Def looking to plan on B. Stanislaw getting all the information. Def, a little bit of a pathing error there. Making his long, arduous way to the B site. Gambles to run it in. And plan's very wide open here. Where will he play in the post, though, is a big question.
He has to keep his post plant position open. He has to think about...
He's playing trash can? Or is he in the, he's in the doorway?
He's in the doorway. He has to play. He has to plant in an open spot so that he has to clear all the angles. He's not going to win a fair duel. With that HP, not a chance in the world. Stanislaw almost clears him out. He almost did win it, but again, I feel like it's because Stanislaw had so many angles to clear. Regardless, Stan narrowly wins the duel of the IGLs and ties us up. That tack pause proving to be worth it. The issue is Wildcard aren't out of the woods yet. Money's still quite low. They have to reinvest everything. It's going to be an arduous journey forward, and Slacks, he is going to bring the op out for the T side.
Slacks will have his op. Hopefully that means no more crouch peeking ops at ticket booth from M80. But Wildcard will not have an op. As mentioned, their economic situation, not great. So a FAMAS for MOTM, an MP9 for JBA. Only 2 defuse kits, only 2 Molotovs for the CT side. I will say, though, the FAMAS is not that bad in CS2. It is not that bad.
Keep saying
Slight, however,
bad.
Lets the AK do its work out mid. Down goes Malbs, and that's always a key part to winning a round against M80. Switchers getting boosted up into middle through window. Nobody's watching for this. It's silent. He might just slip the gap. Sonic now keeping an eye on things. The contact made for the first. Sonic has the trade. Def, however, trades out onto Stanislaw, leveling things back out to a 3v3 and incurring further wrath as he swings on towards the A site. Sonic and Sandwich might just get gobbled by the IGL. However, he wins that fight. Slacks takes the op and strikes, but Slacks is not ready for Sonic yet. He'll toss a little pop flash high. Reck comes in from behind, though, and Sonic's down for the count, all up to MOTM, the new acquisition for Wildcard, whether temporary or permanent. That remains to be seen. He still is the new guy on the block. Blows up that smoke, does not spot anything, however, and will now back away in towards Sniper's Nest. Does he save as Wildcard are broke? Or does he go for the 1v2? It is winnable, especially if we can catch a timing here, but Reck might just hear him stomp, or Slacks rather might hear him stomping away. Slacks has heard it. He knows exactly what's going on. He does not miss on that peek. Nice little play from Slacks. And so M80 set themselves up for at least a 50% win rate on the T side, and a very good opportunity to take this half 7-5, as Wildcard are broke.
Destitute, no choice but to force. Gotta invest. Backs against the wall in this final round of the first half. 5-7. I love the investment from MOTM. I love that pistol. MP9's of Hamas and M4. No kit. There's some utility here and there, though. Only MOTM or JB. I guess if they left the helmets, it wouldn't really matter. They get one more piece of utility, so no kits in play. No kits could have been in play, given the weapons they invested into. Slacks boosted up towards middle with the op. Does not get the opening. MOTM does. 5-7 in towards apartments, up close, gets one, grabs an AK, presses forward. That's a lot of map control and a lot of information now for Wildcard.
That's exactly what you do with 5-7, though. Just grab a gun upgrade. It's a very lethal gun at close range, the one-shot headshot, and it's got a very fast fire rate, too. This little smoke play between Def and Sonic is a bit of a predicament, though, especially if Def loses this duel, which he does not. That's a good headshot from the IGL. MOTM pushes forward and is saved by the wood wall there. As Def would have put 2 bullets in him without any wood in the way, MOTM would have been a dead man given his health. Slide's pushing all the way through ramp, however, and this is the information that Wildcard need to try and steal away this round from M80, and that is why that second kill was so important for MOTM to achieve. It enables this push from behind. Slacks might be watching for it, however. He's made noise. Now he's going to get caught out in the open by Slight. That should torpedo this round for M80. Reck and Mobs left alive. The bomb discovered by Slight. JBA might have even spotted Mobs going in through snipers as well, as he seems to be hot on the trail. Indeed he is. All up to Reck now in a 1v3. Needs a 4K. Runs right into MOTM. He's dead. 9-9 Reck. 6-6 half. We'll be back after the break in just about 3 minutes.
Tied ball game as we enter the second half. 6 apiece for Wildcard and M80. It's Pineapple Phillips and Boggs to bring you the action. And M80 now on their favored side. The defense, as you mentioned, about a 2-3 win rate on rounds on this side. That won't stop JBA, though, from finding the entry out towards B. Up Catwalk 3, come. Out Apartments 2 more fly. And as a free bomb plant and an advantage going into the post plant.
M80 are going to go for the retake here, but it's going to be a tougher one than it was for Wildcard, where they had an even footing in MOTM. Domes one more, as the entry has not even happened yet for M80. Swisher takes a dink, runs out, falls to the ground. Looks to be flawless here for Wildcard, as they only have one left standing against them. And MOTM, a pair of pistol rounds, leads Wildcard to victory and a tenuous one-round lead. M80 going for an investment here, though, as Def goes right in for a scout. Malbs, Deagle Armor, Reck follows suit. The rest of the M80 squad, besides Slack, should probably be investing. Reck elects to go for the 5-7. Swisher joins him, so does Slack. So actually, 5-7's preferred by M80 than the Deagles. Swisher, the one to look to save for the... Never mind. He'll go for a scout. Late decision there, an interesting choice as well. Don't often see Swisher on the $1,700 tag him and bag him, but Malbs, Swisher, and Def all find 3 for the price of 1. Malbs the only one to fall. They know where MOTM is, and now it's Slack's turn to swing. He'll do a boatload of damage, but Slight has also taken out one more 2v2. No scope from Def's scout, will not connect. Know where Slight is. Swisher dealt with the first. Slight looks for the headshot. No scope from Def to close out the round. We're tied at 7. M80 might lose the pistol, but they win the force buy, and arguably that's a better situation to be in.
On the CT side especially. Grab that Galil as an upgrade for Def. Again, he had a slow start to this map. He was the coach taking up the mantle of IGL. Do not envy him whatsoever, but he is making a game of it for himself. He got a couple ecos to get the ball rolling, and he's now, second frag for the team at 10 kills. He wins that round with the no-scope headshot, as you mentioned. He also found a second earlier on with that scout. Very well done to find that impact. And Wildcard, while they are going for the force buy, they lack a lot of teeth because they did not get that bomb plant.
Really well done from M80 to just use numbers to their advantage. Def ball in, and Def with the finishing move with that headshot. Absolutely incredible from the coach. Malbs takes a dink, and so he'll have to fall away. Long range with the MP9. Not really going to benefit him against P250s, Deagles, or even Tech 9s. Reck does farm a pair, however. MOTM finally takes down the low HP Malbs. Slacks will get a little bit of bank with a $600 kill reward and move around as the bomb is out top con. Neither Slight nor MOTM in position to really get possession of it. Now Slight stuck in connector, having to fight his way out, being boxed in from both sides. Will look to do more damage. He'll be successful with at least one more. Reck, however, has himself a round 2, farms up those eco frags with the 4K, and gets M80 back into the lead here. Nate, you said that Def got that little streak of his started with a couple of ecos. Ecos are the easiest way to build confidence. Don't let anyone ever tell you eco frags aren't important. It can change a round, it can change a game for a player, because somebody who's had no luck gets some confidence. And then you can see what Def does and gets a headshot with a scout no-scope. He doesn't do that if he doesn't have confidence from getting those eco frags.
Absolutely. And the confidence is the biggest key there for Def. Play your game. Be confident in it. To making good reads as well. Of course, that clutch play failed versus Stanislaw, but still, the read was there. The play, the confidence was there.
He almost won that fight, too, against a full HP player.
Yeah, if he set his crosshair a little bit higher, if he hit the headshot, it would have been over in the blink of an eye. Speaking of the blink of an eye, it looks like Wildcard will be losing the round, but not before they get the bomb plant. That's honestly the best case in a round like this. Very good sneak out from Slight in towards Palace to get that bomb down. Doesn't alter the outcome of the round. It doesn't even get him a kill, but it gets them that extra cash required for a full rifle buy going into round 17.
Plenty of money, but running out of racetrack, our Wildcard. They do have the op for Slight, but now Slacks can defend with his big green gun. AKs on the rest. Slight the only one lacking utility. Def still has a Galil, which is not as bad as it seems when you consider the fact that Slight doesn't have a helmet. Of course, you would rather have an M4 over a Galil and an AK over an M4, but it's not worth the investment. He can drop an op over to Slacks. They lose the round or win narrowly. There's plenty of things he could do instead of investing over that Galil. That's a nice little smoke play from Mulbs to get the opening kill. And that drops that op down too. Sonic the one to pick it up, but most of his success has been done with the rifles.
Won't stop him,
That's
though.
a nice answer.
Yeah, up the catwalk, evening things up. Back to 4-piece. MOTM also power position in towards connector. Mob spamming away, but this is the mark. The newly added player will fall out of connector. Where will they go? Up catwalk appears to be the call. They have a player in towards apartments. Throw the utility, and here comes the play. The issue is Swishers and Ladder. He's found one. He spotted the second with the bomb. Sonic will get the trade and bring things back to even footing. He'll double down, in fact, dropping one towards A. The op of Slacks will chime in for one, but the op of Sonic is still lurking, and that player in apartments as well is never mind. Mulbs and Slacks combining for it all. The last alive is Sonic on low HP. He's found a gap, though. Found a timing. He hits the shot, but doesn't get the kill. Just the leg on the Slacks. And that will give M80 the opening they require. 10-7 as they're looking to put this first map to bed. Only 3 rounds separating them from victory in this best of 1.
And it's probably going to be 2 pretty quickly here, as Wildcard will be on nothing but a half buy. Just some Tech 9s, maybe some armor, and a smattering of utility scattered about for the T's. Not an ideal situation at all. Slight with nothing but a P2, Fitty, and some util. Tech 9s on the rest, armor on the rest as well, helmets on 2. But an AK in the hand of Mulbs, M4s and an op across the rest. Slacks beginning to heat up, same with Swisher. Mulbs all the way top middle. He knows Stanislaw's there, and that's a freebie for Mulbs, who will get his kill and back away. Up catwalk as he hears calls for reinforcements from Swisher trying to anchor B. He backs away, but he cannot take down MOTM as well. Takes him down to 1/4 of his health, but not all the way. Ian holding around Market, watches his teammates fall around him as he hides in that smoke, looking for a cheeky kill. But Reck's hunting, it's MOTM, the last standing. That's a good little repost by Reck. Bomb plant is, I guess, the best case scenario there for Wildcard. At least they get that extra cash, but they only got 1 round of grace because they lose 2. It's GGWP, and we're on to Inferno.
Pressure mounting. This would be a great time to call a tactical timeout. They have some left, if I'm not mistaken.
They should have 2.
Yeah, and they should have gotten damage in that round as well. They got out of apartments. That's the major choke point. They had a majority of the forces still standing when the bomb hit dirt. And Tech 9s at that range are very deadly. I could have hoped for a bit more in that round. Hoped for a real chance, but M80 didn't rush into things. Played it cool, calm, and collected, and that's what yields a very solid round in their favor. As you mentioned, 2 rounds separating M80 from victory here on the first. And aggression is the call for Reck and Mulbs, both towards ramp. They'll combine for 1. The issue is Slacks immediately falls to a Molotov in window to bring us back to even footing.
I think he got tagged too, which is why he burned so fast. That and the fact that it takes so long to get the smokes down and to extinguish the Molotov here down pretty significantly before that smoke even pops up anyways. Slack's a little unlucky, caught in the corner. And so M80 start down a man here. I guess it's even footing at the very least, but they've abandoned B. And this is the critical thing. It's all down to timing here. But Mulbs and Reck, they pushed ramp. Now they're rotating back to the open B site. And Wildcard have taken too long. They've lost their advantage. The surprise. Now the utility runs in. M80 know what's up. Reck and Mulbs here to ruin the day for Wildcard. However, Reck gets caught. Mulbs tagged down to 6 HP. He'll swing and try to buy time. He'll win that first fight on Stanislaw, who baits him out with a peek. MOTM from bench will deal with the Guatemalan superstar. But the bomb's still yet to go down, and Def and Swisher can try and find their way back in. Swisher creeping through apartments too. It's all the timing! But Slight moves at the right moment to take down Swish. All up to Def now. He's had his moments, he's had his trials, and he's overcome them a few times. Gets spotted by 1. Cannot deal with the op, he's still alive. Runs out of ammunition, so he would have been dead on the second try anyway, but Slight puts him to bed. 3 rounds separating these 2 teams, but more than enough money for M80 to reinvest into this next round. Wildcard are not to safety yet, and M80 can get the op back in the hands of Slacks and try to get back to their winning ways before they end up shopping at the thrift store just to try and scrounge together a buy.
It's unfortunate for Mobs and Reck there as they entered in that beast bomb side. I think Mobs was spotted and then dinked through Reck. And so theoretically Stanislaw should have known he was there, but again, them lining up so perfectly was just incredibly unfortunate. As you mentioned, a buy for M80 still in their hands. They can even get another one after this if required. Wildcard are putting a lot of emphasis now on middle. Op is present in towards Palace, but 2 underpass, 1 top mid, and 1 ramp now falling back, presumably to get that bomb. Mulbs could be the one to open the round. A good swing, an off angle, and Mulbs and Swisher both pass the test, dropping the player, bench dropping the player off in an off angle down below window. 2-man advantage secured, and that might just be what breaks Wildcard in this first map.
That's a well-timed double peek there from Mulbs and Swisher. Swish from Cat, Mulbs from Con. Swisher made that first contact, instant Reese peek from Mulbs, and an easy farm for those two. Mulbs as well as 23 kills. He's almost at a 2.0 KD, and almost at double his teammates. Swisher, however, will finish off Sonic. Stanislaw gets mollied out of Con, too, as he tries to avoid death at the hands of Swish. Slide has the op in Palace, and there's not much he can do to influence this round, especially with 30 seconds on the clock. It's a pretty rough time for Wildcard here, is just as they get some sort of footing, it gets taken out from beneath them again. The trapdoor activated, and M80 with match point here in the not too distant future. Will there be any kills after time is now the next question. Slide spotted. Reck gonna run down the opper. Tries to go crazy, but Slide hits the no-scope. In comes the repeat from Mulbs, who gets Slide after time. Block. That is brutal. $400. Oh, Stanislaw is lucky to get out of that one as Def falls to the headshot. But Def again just almost close, but no cigar on those kills against Stan. But Slight with nothing. Now the timeout comes through from Wildcard, but I can't help but feel that it's a little bit too late for Wildcard right now.
Definitely is. They're going to use this time to talk out the buy. Slight, as you mentioned, on $400. They dropped a scout to do something with. Also buy a smoke, because why not? What else can you buy with $400? Molotov? Yeah. Smoke's most useful.
Smoke is way more useful.
Galil for MOTM, lacking utility on Stanislaw. Backs against the wall in a very literal sense for Wildcard, as they're just trying to stay alive for what would be 4 rounds in a row to get to overtime. That is a long ways away, though. Might as well be infinitely far away at this stage. M80, their tactical and calculated aggression has been paying off both on the CT and T side. The way they use Mulbs to his fullest extent, whether it be pressuring alone or as part of a unit. M80 pivoting around him has been so solid. Wildcard, though, won't go without kicking and screaming.
Swisher goes out alone, and he pays the price. Mulbs can't help him out. Smoked off in window, and now Wildcard swarm towards the A site. Reck has the first from Ticket. Stan's going to go for the fight, but his little nade smoke combo doesn't really work out too well. Reck continues to spray as the bomb goes down. Mulbs in jungle. That Molotov should not touch him. It goes a little bit too deep. Over top a Ticket, however. Reck will find a second, and he'll go to reload. Mulbs 1 for 1, traded by JBA. Just 2 players left for Wildcard here with plenty of time to defuse for the CT side. Stanislaw lets one go. Def does not check him. Stan makes his play. Reck now next in line, wins that fight, 1 HP. All up to JBA now. Slacks from behind. Reck searching. Slacks runs in. JBA traded out by Reck, who runs to defuse. He has the kit and the quad and the map. And the match for M80. Reck Monster comes up big in the end, and Nate, we mentioned him a little bit in the pre-show, how Reck, he's a very reliable player. He's a good anchor. And every once in a while, he comes up with a big round. He did that there to seal the deal as M80 take the first of our 2 best of ones tonight. 13-8 on Mirage. And that's with a couple players on high ping, too. That's a pretty impressive result.